Time for the big baddie. So, I think we're either going to debate the arbiter or we're going to debate Socrates. We'll find out. Maybe we'll debate ourselves. Well, that was quite a spirited performance, Socrates. Who would have thought an accountant from New York would turn out to be such a great debater? Thank you, arbiter. I believe Friedrich Nietzsche? I think Friedrich Nietzsche? Is that how you say it, Nietzsche? I don't know. Nietzsche has volunteered to discuss his ideas with you next. A prominent, if sometimes paradoxical thinker, he is often quoted by the angsty teens of your era. Give me a moment, and I will retrieve him. Of course. You okay, Ari? I don't know how you're still doing this, Dad. I mean, look at me. I'm getting tired, and I'm just helping out. I know, Ari. I was personally hoping Kant's answer would hold up. At this point, I kind of think that the nature of morality is impossible to find. What did you say? Oh, I said, I kind of think the nature of morality is impossible to find. Huh, interesting. Unfortunately, while interesting, that description of the nature of morality is also incorrect. Wait, what? Very sorry, but the rules state he only has one chance, and I'm afraid that was it. What the heck? That is completely bogus. My dad wasn't trying to provide an answer just then, he was just thinking to himself. Tell him, Dad. Tell him you didn't intend to make a statement about morality. Dad? Ari, he's right. What? What I said was, in fact, a statement about the nature of morality. I can't deny that. Glad you are taking this reasonably, Socrates. Again, the deepest of apologies. I hope you will be able to make yourself comfortable here. Wait, Arbiter. Before you leave, can I ask you one thing? I suppose. Why? Excuse me? Why am I wrong? Come now, your stance is full of holes, Socrates. Of that much, there is no doubt. So you've said, but why? If I'm going to be here forever, I'd like to at least understand why I'm wrong. Very well, Socrates. That is only fair. Allow me to spell it out for you. Hey, Nietzsche. Okay. Oh god, that would have been such a dope secret boss. Nietzsche would be hilarious. It's okay, we got the arbiter this time. You have presented your philosophical views. Your premise is foolish, as morality has a tangible impact. The world is clearly bettered when individuals strive to be better. I see little reason to doubt the existence of some form of morality in our world. There we go, Socrates. As you see, your answer is flawed to the core. I see. Well, if you don't mind, Arbiter, I'd like to ask you a few questions. What? Dad, do you really intend to challenge the Arbiter? Yes, I do. Well, listen, I don't know if you forgot this, but he's the Arbiter. So? Ari, you once told me never to let an argument go unexamined, didn't you? Frankly, we both know that I know little about philosophy, but for all my bombast, it's only because of that piece of advice that we've lasted this as long as we have. But Dad, we've encountered many arguments that looked solid on the surface, but each and every one of them had a flaw. If we don't look closely at this one, how can we know how can we know it's not the same? Examine everything. There's too much on the line for us to forget that now, no matter how scary our opponent looks. All right, Dad. I trust you. Well, this is unexpected, Socrates. I confess you have piqued my interest. I suppose, given all you have done, some questions are warranted. Ask away, but do not feel too hurt when you come up short. It's funny, the Arbiter is basically arguing against Nietzsche right now. Interesting. Alright, you have presented your philosophical views. Have I now? What views are those? Come now, Socrates. Do you really need me to outline your own opinions? I just can't help but feel everything would be clear if you did. Very well then, if you insist. You claim that morality does not exist. Right. We probably don't need to do anything else with there, but that was nice to get some clarification there. I don't have anything to challenge here. I can't even call his face ugly, probably because I can't see his face. The premise is foolish, as morality has a tangible impact. Can you clarify this? It is possible to argue that things don't exist when they cannot be felt. When an impact can be felt, however, such an argument becomes more precarious. Such is the case when it comes to morality. Actually, I want to go back around to the previous guy, Kant. Can you do anything with the dead body one, or is that just a red herring? Because I think that's interesting. Also note that you start with 0 HP. Arbiter does not have a lot of respect for this conversation. Oh. I just noticed that, yeah. Interesting. I gotta get this right immediately. Back this up. Do so in a moment, Socrates. Relevance. Outlines why it is difficult to argue that morality does not exist. Okay? The world is clearly bettered when individuals strive to be better. What do you mean by this? I think it's pretty clear, Socrates. Mankind is better off when held to a higher standard. In other words, when they adhere to the principles of some form of morality. Okay, press for backing. History has been marked by shifts in human temperament. Advances in moral thinking tend to lead to periods of prosperity, while flawed or distorted ideals lead to decline. Seeing this, there can be little doubt morality betters the world. Relevance outlines a key supporting point, Socrates. Dead body's a red herring, to be sure. Guess you meant dying man, not dead body. Oh, I might have said dead body as well. See little reason to doubt the existence of some form of morality in our world. Can you clarify this point? For the reasons I have just stated, it seems more than likely morality exists. More than likely. Can you back it? I believe I have, Socrates. Relevance. In most ways, this is my conclusion. What are you doing, Dad? Thought you said you would find something wrong with his argument. Did I? I actually have very few problems with his argument, and that's what makes me feel like something is off here. Huh? Right, you claim that morality doesn't exist. Oh, I can't even question that anymore. Oh, now I can. Socrates, be reasonable. Did you not say these words yourself? All right, Arbiter, I admit you have raised a strong objection to the idea that morality does not exist. Thank you, Socrates. As governor of this realm, it would be tragic if I had not. Do you see now why such an answer is insufficient? Of course, there is just one problem. That wasn't my answer. What? What you are arguing against is 2 steps removed from what I actually said. You have discredited the non-existence of morality, but I claimed that the answer to morality might not be findable. Well then, those are essentially the same thing. No, they are not. I think we can all agree morality exists in some form, for all the reasons you have described. Even if it were different for each person, as Protagoras would argue, there is no doubt that we can develop some sort of guideline for how we should behave. But that does not mean that what we seek, a perfect definition for morality, exists as well. Morality could very well be more abstract, like faith or happiness. Just because it exists doesn't mean there is an answer everyone will agree on. Therefore, I can claim a perfect answer does not exist without knowing morality itself, without throwing morality itself out the window. An answer demands morality, but morality does not demand an answer. I can't believe it. We may just survive this after all. So as you can see, Arbiter, the argument you have built is a very effective counter. but it's a counter to something I did not claim. I see. I apologize for misunderstanding your initial point, Socrates. Guess it's always important to make sure the person you are debating understands you clearly, huh? So Dad's position makes sense now, right? Does that mean you can accept his answer? I'm afraid not. His position still has a number of critical flaws. Allow me to explain. Hey, I got more health. They're basically the same thing, give or take a few hours. Neitz says you have an enjoyable voice. Well, thank you very much, Neitz. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Socrates, you claim that a flawless answer cannot be found. However, I do not see how this can be possible when there are infinite potential answers. Already here, you have seen arguments of many branches and formulations. With possibilities so incomprehensibly vast, surely one must stand as infallible. With this being the case, it is only a matter of time before we find the answer. So as you can see, Socrates, as long as the possibilities are infinite, the answer is findable. Interesting argument, based around a mathematical concept, I see. Well, you forgot one thing, Arbiter. I'm an accountant. I deal with faulty numbers all the time. Wow, Dad, I just got shivers. So you already know what the problem here is. Well, no, but I couldn't pass up my one chance to make being an accountant sound cool. Remember when I said I trusted you just 5 minutes ago? Don't make me rethink that. Hey, being stuck here forever would be bad enough without having made total fools of ourselves. Socrates, do you intend to actually ask me questions? I understand if you do not. You have placed yourself in an unfortunate position. It may be easier to just admit to your error. As if. Okay, Arbiter, let's rumble. Alright, you claim that a flawless answer cannot be found. Just in case, clarify. I believe you just did not 5 minutes ago, Socrates. Isn't that core of your... Okay, no, just in case. However, I do not see how this can be possible when there are infinite potential answers. I think the obvious flaw here is just because the answers are infinite does not mean that one of those answers is correct. I think that's an obvious thing to go for. But, you know, ask for clarification and get all that stuff going down. I am saying that the number of possible solutions that philosophers may think of is not in any way limited. There are infinite possible ideas and infinite variations on those ideas. So essentially, no matter how many answers we discredit, there will always be another one on the table. Just thinking about that makes me tired. Okay, can you back it? There can be little doubt that the potential answers are infinite, Socrates. I will provide evidence for this in my next statement. Okay, but is it relevant? It cleanly sets up my counter-argument. Already here you have seen arguments of many branches and formulations. What do you mean? Over the course of your time here, you have met philosophers with many different ideas. These ideas were not variations of one another. Often, they would be entirely different beasts. So there are infinite possible answers because there are infinite possible branches. Each branch of thinking comes from the belief that something is the source of morality, and there are infinite things in the world that could be that source. If we combine or modify these ideas, it is difficult to imagine that we could ever reach an end. True enough. Backing? Do not believe much support is needed. Utilitarianism is very different beast from social contract theory, which is in turn different from categorical imperatives. Philosophy is a world with many paths of thought, so many paths that many of them hardly seem related. Clearly, there is an incredible diversity here. I wonder if it's This is really getting into philosophy, but I wonder if it's if you are allowed to say that there is a solution when there are an infinite number of questions or an infinite number of branches. Like you could think that there is a solution, but until a solution is found, does a solution actually exist? I wonder if you can say that. Relevance reinforces the idea that the set of possible answers is incredibly diverse, and with such breadth, it seems difficult to claim that the answer could not be one of them. With possibilities so incomprehensibly vast, surely one must stand as infallible. Not sure I understand. What I'm trying to say here is simple. If we were able to look at every single pattern of thought, there is little doubt that the answer would be one of them. Okay, can you back it? What do you mean? Well, what makes you so sure one of them is perfect? Socrates, is the answer not in the infinite itself? Arbiter. Yes, Socrates. The argument you are making here is quite simple on the surface. I can see why, with so many possible answers, you might believe one of them has to be true. Might believe? Correct. For while I understand where you're coming from, I'm afraid infinity doesn't work quite the way you think it does. Huh? I don't understand either. Dad, what do you mean? Okay, time for a math lesson. Put it plainly, infinite is not the same as all-encompassing. They may sound similar, but the two are actually entirely different. There are infinite real numbers between 0 and 1, but none of them are 2. I know where he's going there, but I know where he's going there, but he could have phrased that a little bit differently, because I'm pretty sure you can put a 2 between 0 and 1. Anyways, likewise, there may be infinite potential ways to try to define morality, but that does not guarantee that one of them is perfect. Oh, come now, Socrates. Even if I can't prove the answer is out there, probability is surely on my side. Philosophical thought is so diverse, the amount of ground which is covered is truly incredible. With this being the case, surely it seems more likely than not that the answer exists, yes? Does it? Over the course of my time here, every philosopher I have encountered has claimed to have the answer to your question. However, close examination revealed that, diverse as they were, all of them had flaws. Come to think of it, that's true. Faced with a parade of great thinkers, all failing to accomplish the same task you have assigned me, my position only seems stronger. There is no evidence that the set of possible answers contains perfection. In fact, it seems extremely unlikely. The fact is, the existence of infinite possibilities does not guarantee a certain possibility is among them. Any claim that it does is simply and objectively false. Now, I guess I understand the mistake. You are the ruler of the realm of ideas and not the realm of facts, after all. But as an accountant, I could never stand for such an assumption. Nonsense. Socrates, let us set aside the witticisms and return to the basics for a moment. You have posited here that there may, in fact, be no provable answer to the question of morality. Yes, you claim, in fact, that there is no evidence to support there being such an answer. Why are you asking so many questions? My dad just said all these things. Relax, Ari. Yes, Arbiter. And the existence of infinite answers cannot itself be considered proof. I see. Well, Socrates, these are all interesting points, but I believe there is one important detail you have forgotten. The answer has been found before. Ooh. Socrates saying exactly what Axel said 5 minutes ago. Hey. Hobbes, Mills, and Kant challenging Axel, and the Arbiter out here basically playing the odds. Heck yeah. claim that there is no answer to be found, but history stands against you. The great thinker Socrates completed the task and was granted his wish. His answer had to be approved for this to occur. Clearly, there is an answer, and it is possible to find. So you see, Socrates, the answer to morality is clearly findable. If it were not, the great thinker would not have been able to find it. Dad? He may have me, actually. I had forgotten about the first Socrates' exploits, if he found the answer. Can't really argue with that. Then this really is the end. No, just go for a walk, man. Now you understand why I cannot accept your answer. You agree that continuing this debate would be foolish, yes? Is this it? Do I have to concede? Even though we've come so far. Ari, I'm sorry.
Nonsense!
Worry not, old friend. There is still hope yet. Protagoras? Not just Protagoras. Oh, snaps. What are you all doing here? We have come to back you up, old chap. But why? Why? Ingratitude is the essence of vileness. I gained much from our discussion. Now it is time to return the favor. You are in trouble, and the imperative dictates that I assist. Helping a dying man at Oh, man. Exactly. There is no happiness to be gained from watching a friend struggle. I can be most useful here, assisting you from the sidelines. Good is happiness. We formed a contract to find the answer, and I must follow it to the end. People work together. And you, Euthyphro? My child, you are still a blasphemer. Rest assured, the gods will smite you one day. But until then, I suppose I could lend you a hand. Being men, we are all incredibly flawed. Our only hope lies in helping each other. Aw, this is so sweet. Thank you, all of you. All right, Arbiter. I'm not going to give up just yet. This is so deteriorating. This is deteriorating into madness, Socrates. Very well, I shall entertain you a little longer. Okay. Ooh, we can do your face is ugly. I'm gonna do it. Well, your face is ugly. Socrates, you really think this is a good idea? Well, I was just, maybe? Well then. Perhaps it is time for a harsh wake-up call. Time to end this charade. Wait, just give me one more? No, Socrates. I've given you more than enough chances. Those chances have now worn themselves through. I hope you will be able to make yourself comfortable here, Socrates. You won't be going anywhere anytime soon. Goodbye, Socrates Jones. No, I was so close. Maybe if I had one more focused approach. Maybe if. Is this really the end? Unfortunate. Unfortunate. Well, you know, sometimes at the jaws of defeat, you just have to go in and be like, your face is ugly. Sometimes you lose the battle, but you win or sometimes you lose the war, but you won the battle right there. Okay, so let's check out what we got here. So helping out a dying man, that doesn't seem helpful. Good is happiness, maybe. People work together. Mankind is flawed. I like mankind is flawed the most, actually, here. And if I'm going to be looking for a place to insert something, I think mankind is flawed is going to work. Euthyphro is actually giving a key piece there, and we just threw it all away for the meme. Right after all your friends showed up to save you. Yeah, if you tell someone their face is ugly, have you actually lost? Exactly. Okay. But history stands against you. Okay, so let's go through everything. Clarification. What do you mean by this? I mean, an event from the past directly counters your claim. I mentioned this to you earlier, do you not remember? Okay, backing. Can you back it up? Patience, Socrates, I'm about to elaborate. Okay, but is it relevant? Details a flaw in your claim. The great thinker Socrates completed the task and was granted his wish. Verify. Many centuries ago, Socrates came to the current arbiter claiming he found the answer to morality. This was the last anyone ever saw of him. Press for backing. Can you back that up? Socrates' absence from this plane is quite conspicuous. Indeed, we have all missed the great thinker. You saw the stir you created just by sharing his name. I don't need much evidence to show that he was granted an exit. I mean, just because he's not here, like in this spot, does not mean he is not here in this plane. Can you confirm that he is gone? Relevance? Because that you're claiming to be impossible. What you're claiming to be impossible is clearly possible, and it has happened in the past. His answer had to be approved for this to occur. What do you mean? It is quite simple. If his answer had been determined to be correct, none of this could have ever happened, or had not been determined. Can you back it? The story has been told countless times, Socrates. Indeed, it is legend in this realm. Scripture, even. Okay, I get it, geez. Ain't relevant. Socrates, the approval is, in fact, the evidence supporting the great thinker actually found the answer. After all, it's difficult to believe these things are true, no? Without the judgment of the previous arbiter verifying that his answer was indeed correct, I suppose many would have trouble believing it. Huh, interesting. Indeed, we should take note of this, my friend. See, Heel's there recommending I play Socrates Jones, even though he's the one that recommended I play Socrates Jones, the game that I'm playing right now. Alright, the arbiter's approval makes the validity of his answer undoubtable. What do you mean? Mean that the original arbiter's judgment is what lets us know Socrates was correct. Rather straightforward, really. Okay, but can you back it up? Socrates, the original arbiter, was widely respected in this world. You really intend to question his judgment? Relevant? I just spelled this out for you, Socrates. It is the cornerstone on which my temple of reason is built. Now he's sounding like Euthyphro, or maybe Kant. Some sick fusion of the two? And clearly there is an answer and it's possible to find. What do you mean by this? I mean that there is clearly an answer and it's possible to find. I'm not sure how much more straightforward I could be. Even I thought that was a well-organized thought. Get out of here, Kant. And can you back it, though? I believe I just did. As Socrates found the answer must be findable. Doesn't get much more straightforward than that. But is it relevant? This is my conclusion, Socrates Jones. Socrates. Yes, Mill? I think I see what is wrong here. You will have to dig back for this one. Way, way back. Well, that's about as vague of a hint as he can possibly give. Okay. So mankind is flawed here works very well. The only issue is the arbiter mankind? Or is he some crazy person? Or, crazy, not mankind. I don't know. Alright, you claim that there is no answer to be found. Okay. So, are you mankind? Nonsense! Arbiter. What now, Socrates? You claim that we can be sure that Socrates found the answer. Correct. And we can know this for sure because your predecessor verified its validity. Indeed. What I thought. Well, in order to demonstrate what is wrong with your argument, I'm going to cite one of my colleagues here. Euthyphro. Yes, my child? You remember your statements on the wisdom of man? Of course. Human beings are fallible and vain. They make mistakes. Gods, however, yes, that's quite enough preaching, thank you. Now, Arbiter, let me make this clear for you. Euthyphro may have been wrong about where morality comes from, but he was right about this. Human beings are far from perfect. We can never forget this. And as flawed beings, the answers we formulate will be similarly flawed. As a result, I find it hard to believe that Socrates really did find the answer. What? The fact is, as imperfect beings, we must always remember that we are flawed. The moment we go far enough as to claim that our answer is perfect, we close our minds. Yeah, it is true. I know from experience. I too have fallen into this trap. Indeed, even the best of us can succumb. For this reason, we must never assume we have the answer. Exactly. So when people say that 2 + 2 = 4, you better walk up to them and be like, you know what? You are an arrogant piece of garbage. How dare you think that you're correct in that regard? Just do it. But Socrates, the first arbiter, are both human, or human-like entities at the very least. Regardless, how do we know that their judgment, their answer, was not an error? You have admitted to your fair share of mistakes today. There is no reason the previous arbiter couldn't have made some as well. You can't base the credibility of your entire argument on the appeal, or on an appeal to authority. Very well put, Socrates. Indeed, even I am convinced you could have been wrong all those years ago. Right, Arbiter, if a false conclusion was presented convincingly enough, even your predecessor could have made such a mistake, thus leading to the discovery of an answer that was actually impossible to find. It is possible that a perfect answer is still outside of our reach. So as you can see, you haven't proven anything.
Nonsense.
Alright, Socrates, you have a point. I confess that, even with the backing of the original arbiter, I cannot prove that an answer exists. Yes, I knew it. However, before you go and celebrate, I wish to point out that you cannot reasonably prove that it does not. With us at such an impasse, it all boils down to a matter of potential consequences. Let us assume, just for a moment, that what you have postulated here is true. Let us say for a moment that morality cannot be found. I cannot believe you truly understand the consequences of what you are suggesting. Let me show you why what you claim cannot possibly be right. But if you tell them they're an arrogant piece of garbage, aren't you the one assuming then? Well, no, because they're telling you with absolute authority that 2 + 2 is 4. You know, that they're saying that answer is perfect, and it's not perfect. Socrates, you have just argued that you can never be sure of our answers. If that is the case, then there is no point to what we do here. We might as well all give up and become accountants. There is no way we can accept a theory with such horrible consequences, and that is my position on the matter. How could you say such a thing, Arbiter? You have just devalued everything we do here. There was no happiness to be gained from that. I am merely showing the worrisome implications of Socrates Jones's argument. If you take issue with them, you should take it up with him. Wait a minute, I knew it. I knew you were up to no good, my child. Trying to lower us all to your level, to make us into accountants. Oh, shut up, Euthyphro. The arbiter is clearly straw-manning Dad, distorting his argument in order to make it sound weaker. Dad doesn't actually want everyone to become accountants, right? Of course not. Oh, okay. Thank the gods. Arbiter, you must be getting desperate to resort to such tricks. Even if what you said were true, the fact that a conclusion is uncomfortable does not mean it should be ignored.
Nonsense.
It does, however, mean that we should be wary of accepting it. I must confess, old chap, I would find it hard to believe anything that created such an outcome. As would I. It would be foolish to jump into waters so brimming with sharks. Well then, I suppose I will have to show that there are no sharks, won't I? That the consequences of my argument are not nearly so disastrous. Very well, Socrates. But first, let me issue an ultimatum. This is your last chance. My last what? You gave your answer. The game is already over. It is only through my mercy that it continues. And your damaging claims are beginning to wear my mercy thin. If you cannot show why this conclusion isn't disastrous, I will refuse to accept it as you once refused Hobbes. I find it impossible to believe that the answer would be one that made the search itself meaningless. So again, this is your last chance. Alright, Arbiter. One last chance is all I need. I'll show you once and for all why my viewpoint can stand. Lots of assumptions happening here. Why do we need a trigger warning? Or do we need a trigger warning? Oh man. Should I just call his face ugly and be done with it? Alright, you have argued that we can never be sure of our answers. If that's the case, there's no point in what we do here. What do you mean by this? I mean that we as philosophers serve no purpose if your ridiculous conclusion is allowed to stand. I believe that thought is pretty clear enough for me to wonder if you are wasting my time. Okay, do you have the backing for that? Yes, please do. The logic that supports this idea is fairly intuitive, but I shall spell it out. If your conclusion stands, then our efforts to define morality have always been reaching for an impossible goal. Reaching for something that is forever out of our grasp. And if that goal is impossible, all of our efforts towards it is clearly a waste. If your roads don't lead anywhere, what is the point of building them? With these 2 points laid bare, there can be little doubt that our efforts are useless. That said, though, I don't think we should forget these points. I'd like to look at them a little more closely. Seems like good is happiness. Or people work together are what we're going to be looking for here. Alright, we are striving in vain towards something which cannot be accomplished. Clarify? As philosophers, it is our duty to seek the answers to questions such as the nature of morality. But if your conclusion was accepted as true, no matter how hard we work, those questions will never be answered. Isn't that like the definition of, well, maybe not the definition, but isn't that what philosophy is all about? Is seeking out answers to questions that may not have them? Could be wrong, but I feel like that's kind of relevant, maybe. Can you back it up, though? It's supported by your stated outlook. You claim it is impossible to obtain a solution, or to be certain of it at the very least. If this is the case, all efforts to do so are misguided. But is it relevant? If your last conclusion was true, then this is the situation in which all philosophers have found themselves. Establishing it helps detail our futility. Okay. And if we cannot achieve our goal, there is no reason to try. Clarify. I don't understand. Socrates, the duty of every moral philosopher is to create a perfect definition of morality. This is what we all work so hard for. And if we can't find a perfect answer, our efforts are in vain. I believe that all of this has been made clear before. Not as clear as it was made now. Our efforts are worth noting until we are able to obtain perfection. What do you mean? Simply that if we cannot find the absolute answer, then nothing we find will ever stand up to a thorough examination. All flawed assumptions will eventually be discarded. We might as well recognize their worthlessness now. Okay, but can you back it? Must I really? It strikes me as fairly obvious. A perfect answer is the only answer worth pursuing. Perfection is indeed desirable, but yeah, it is elusive. But is it relevant? It spells out the goal of philosophers clearly in order to show how your conclusion directly harms it. Okay, might as well give up and become accountants. What the heck are you implying? See no reason to get upset, Socrates. What was he laughing at me? He was. I really mean that if we cannot succeed as philosophers, we might as well do something else. Right. But can you back it up? Yeah, sucker. I've established that it does not make sense for us to pursue something other than perfection. Therefore, if we cannot achieve our goal, we might as well give up and assume a lower profession, of which accounting is one example. Not even the arbiter can resist making a dig at my profession. Is it really such an easy target? But is it relevant? How is this nonsense possibly related to your conclusion? It defines what role we would all have to take in this brand new world you imagined. How frightful. No, stop it, all of you. However, this adds nothing substantial to your argument, and you know it. Very well, Socrates. Suppose I may have gotten carried away. Hey. There's no way we can accept a theory with such horrible consequences. What do you mean? I mean that I cannot accept your argument given the consequences. Can you back it? Accepting your conclusion would have drastic negative consequences to our world here, as I've outlined. I believe this is more than enough reason to reject your conclusion. But technically, you could accept, right? Yes, I suppose I could, technically. Then accept it. No, just because I could doesn't mean I should. We are looking for the nature of morality, and your answer is immoral in itself. But is it relevant? Clearly defining why I've laid out to reject your conclusion. Okay, oh gods, give me strength to assist this ingrate. Almost close, I can feel it. Gonna have to use everything I know to get past this. Just a little more, I can't let Ari down now. Or not now. Okay. This is definitely a final boss. I think people work together is moving up to the top of the list for me. But where would I put it? Probably right there. Okay, perfection. I don't think this works just because, you know, the act of being a thinker, it's kind of irrelevant whether you're making flawed judgments and things like that. I really like people work together. The exercise of philosophical thinking is not to it's not to necessarily find an answer, but to explore the act of thinking of an answer that may actually not be obtainable. It's you know, there's that. And then good is happiness. Let's see how that's helping me. You know what? Helping a dying man. You know what? This actually could be relevant. Socrates is a dying man, and you could play the card of, hey, the definition of morality is just helping people out. Help me out. I'm dying. So that's very interesting. Very, very interesting. I kind of like that one more now. Some incredible overthinking going on? Yeah. Absolutely. Alright. Let's do it. Show me the money. Dang. I'm dead. Oh, I have more than one try. Okay. I think what you said about helping a dying man is true, but how does that relate to anything the Arbiter is saying? There. No point in what we do here. I admit that I guess I am maybe warping things to work for the context of the things that he is saying exactly. Striving in vain towards something which cannot be accomplished. I go back to work, but must see how you piece together this conclusion. Struggle is unreal, and the real all at once. Thanks for stopping by, Sodomancer. I appreciate it. Now I'll figure this out. Somehow. Let's catch the exciting conclusion on the VODs on YouTube. It's gonna be a while before this gets on YouTube. I'm gonna throw that out there. You can check the VOD on Twitch. It'll be around for a little while. I admit I am at an impasse here. I obviously don't think the Arbiter is correct, but of the options I have available to me, I'm not 100% sure where I can go from here. I feel like this is the one right here. To obtain perfection is what I need to go about. Let's just go with mankind is flawed. Nope. Just a shot in the dark, really. I'm not 100% sure why good is happiness, at least from the description that I had, works. But at least I was right on where to put it. I like some of the other descriptions a little bit better, but we'll see where he takes this. Arbiter. I think I finally figured out what's wrong with your entire position. Have you now? Remember, you will not get another chance. I know. And I don't need one. This, Arbiter, is the end. Very well, Socrates. Tell me then, what is wrong with my position? It's quite simple, really. A classic fallacy. You are assuming here that a solution must be perfect to have value. That is not the case. In fact, such an assumption strikes me as fundamentally wrong. I just realized that over half of us have facial hair. And I am not sure how to cope with my distress. Right, anyway. Perfection is, as a general rule, an attractive prospect in every field, but things do not have to be perfect to add value to the world. Let us look at art. Even works as great as the statue of David or the Mona Lisa are not without their flaws. But despite their flaws, can there be any doubt that the world is a brighter place because these works exist? Oh, and it's as Mill would say, they are still good because they increase happiness. Exactly. Whether or not Mill's ideas dominate, increasing overall happiness is certainly one way an imperfect work can contribute. But under your logic, none of these works would have meaning. That's the real disastrous conclusion here. There is no happiness to be gained from that. Look at the people around you, Arbiter. All these philosophers came forward with their own visions of morality. Ultimately, their views all turned out to be flawed, but does that make their ideas worthless? Of course not. Their theories have had a profound positive impact on the world. Anyone in my high school philosophy class could tell you as much. Flaws and all, their attempted moral systems stand stronger than those created without thought. And the importance of this is palpable. Just because perfection might be unattainable does not mean we should not try. It only means we cannot expect to succeed. This is quite impressive, old friend. Indeed, you may truly have it, Herr Jones. True, it is our duty to keep questioning, always and forever. For while we can never assume our ideas are perfect, if we don't keep searching, we will miss the chance to find something better. The fact that we can never be sure does not mean we should not hypothesize. The goal may be unattainable, but all progress made towards it is still a fundamental good. In a way, searching for morality is, in fact, the most moral thing you can do. What do you have to say to that, Arbiter? I say... Laughter. 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 Arbiter? Oh, wonderful. You broke the sovereign. Now we'll have to get a new one. No, I'm fine. It's just funny. You know, I was going to make the prediction earlier that the Arbiter was Socrates, like the great thinker Socrates, but I don't know if I want to, I didn't know if I wanted to make that prediction, but we're going to make it now. You know, what is there to lose? Funny? Yes, funny. I realize now I have become arrogant in my time ruling this plane. I simply assumed a perfect answer was out there, waiting to be found, despite the fact that the one I had found myself so many years ago was wrong. And to think it would be you who would put the pieces together. It's humorous, really. What are you talking about? He is not wise because of what he knows, but because he knows what he does not know. People used to say this about me all the time. Now I believe it better applies to you. Wait, hold on, you? Yes, that's right, Protagoras. I am, or was, the great thinker Socrates. Yeah, I was going to make this prediction a long time ago. Glad I made it before the reveal, but maybe I should have made it sooner. What? Called it. You what? Yeah, I figured it out like an hour ago. An unverifiable claim, but there is no denying this one is sharp enough. Regardless, finding the answer was my greatest accomplishment. I convinced the old arbiter I had found the solution. I even briefly convinced myself. And as a result, I won the challenge. The arbiter gave me his mantle and told me I was to take his place as ruler of this realm. I took it and became what you see now. But you said Socrates left. And you didn't immediately recognize me as not you. My friend, why would you go so far to hide your identity? I gave up who I was to oversee this realm. As Socrates, I may have been respected, but I also made my fair share of enemies. I felt that, having found the answer, it was only appropriate to distance myself from all of that, to better guide others towards the truth. Of course, once I figured out that my solution was in fact wrong, I became determined to goad someone else into finding it, never once thinking that perhaps it could be unreachable. In a way, the old Socrates did leave that day, but now I think you've brought him back. Well then, Socrates Jones, I think it's time I finally granted you your wish. You mean, yes, time for you to head home, the both of you. When you said you bet you were going to end the game debating Socrates or the Arbiter, you were grinning. I was just about to mention that I mentioned that, and I ended up fighting both of them, and that's pretty amazing. I can't believe it. We did it. We actually did it. But wait, hold on. Does this mean you accept my answer as true? Am I a pro-philosopher? Certainly not. By your very own logic, you know I cannot do that. I do, however, accept your answer as the best I will receive right now, and I cannot ask for better than that. So, this is for real this time, no tricks. He can just walk through? Of course. Ariadne? What do you take me for? Just making sure. Dad, do you know what I'm going to do first when I get home? What? Sleep. Sounds like a plan. Well then, Hobbes, Mill, Protagoras, Kant, Euthyphro, Socrates, Prime. I guess this is it. Goodbye, Herr Jones. You will be missed. Indeed, it was a pleasure making your acquaintance. I will miss you, Socrates. You are almost as intelligent as the original. Sniffle. Thank you, all of you, for everything you've done. An extra big thank you to you, Mill. Seriously, you are just as awesome as I thought you'd be. I'm going to miss you. Now, Ariadne Jones. You are going to make this old man blush. Let's not single anyone out, Ari. Everyone here has been great. Except for maybe Euthyphro. What? Now, wait a minute. Come on, Dad. Let's go. I've had enough of this weird floating architecture for a good long time. Alright, Ari, lead the way. Pronouncing Ariadne is the real final boss? Yep. Getting it in a few dozen years.